So as of right now, I've decided on my topic, Aggie football. I've determined the genre of my paper. It's a personal narrative. Remember, I'm talking about my weekend in College Station to go see the A&M versus Tennessee football game. Also, now I have my plan structure figured out. Okay? It's going to be a story arc, and I've figured out all of the pieces that go along with that. What I want to do now is I want to look at some text features that I can include in my writing project. Now for personal narrative, there's not going to be as many options as, let's say, nonfiction, but there are some things that I can include. Starting with the first one, title. I can most definitely come up with a title for my paper. Maybe something like, My Weekend in College Station. Notice that my title, the words are capitalized. Always important. Photograph. Are there any photographs that I can include? This is definitely something that you can include with a personal narrative. What could I do? Well, I'm talking about myself and my sister, so maybe I can include a picture of me and Rachel. I talk about my family and friends. Maybe I can include a photo of them. Okay. Maybe a photograph of the stadium to give a nice visual. So Kyle Field. Illustration. I am certainly not an artist, so I don't know that this would be something that I want to spend a lot of time on. Could I include an illustration? I think so. I mean, I can maybe do a little drawing of what it looks like when we win the game. Me and my lovely stick figures, we are high-fiving. I would not actually include stick figures if I were doing an illustration, but you get the gist. High-fiving, okay, A&M, this is our logo. Maybe there's a good place that I could insert that. Timeline, I'm definitely not going to use this one because I'm not writing a nonfiction piece. Same for diagram. Headings, most definitely. So I can especially use my story arc as a reference maybe for some of the headings for my paper. Me and Rachel traveled to College Station. Sister time, perhaps for that heading. Okay. Road trip mishaps. I think that would be an excellent heading because the following paragraphs would include all of the different things that went wrong on the trip. Okay. I could, the game, overtime. Okay, you guys get the gist of all the different things that I can include. So nothing for the nonfiction ones. So even though I'm doing a personal narrative, there's still definitely some text features that I can include just to help jazz it up a little bit. Now on the back, if you want to go ahead and sketch it out, okay, so what it might look like. My weekend in College Station, I have my title up here. My first part was talking about sister time. I talked about maybe wanting to include a photo of my sister. So, photo of me and Rach. Again, maybe I want to do an illustration. So we talked about celebrate the victory. And that's maybe where I can include a drawing if I should so choose. You do not have to include these things. You can if you would like. Again, photos, illustrations, headings I think are a good idea. You always want to have a title. So go ahead, plan out some features. If you are writing fiction, I'm going to tell you a few of the same things. So again, let's say you're writing a made-up story about robots. You can have a title. Photograph, it's a made-up story. You're not going to have that. It's not realistic. But you for sure can include some illustrations. What does your robot look like? What does the robot look like now that he has feelings? And definitely some headings. And again, you can sketch it out, or if you're like me, you're just not very artsy, you don't have to include any illustrations if you don't want to. Let's get started.